Sometimes when I'm headed out the door for a run, I might have a lot of things on my mind or stressed about various things going on in life. But then there's always those moments when in the middle of a run, it all just fades away. It's about letting go of all the stresses and all the other thoughts in my head and just focusing on the trail. It's just your breathing, the footsteps, and being present in the moment that I really value. I grew up in Wisconsin, small farming town where there wasn't really a ton to do. We were always climbing trees, riding horses, getting lost in the woods. And so I've always been pretty active. I'd moved to Madison, Wisconsin for my undergraduate degree at the University of Wisconsin. I ended up taking a PE course called Marathon and Distance Training. In order to pass, we have to run a marathon by the end of the semester. I ran the Wisconsin Marathon. The tagline is, "It's the cheesiest." I completed the course by finishing my first marathon. Spin. Good girl. My job as a scientist by nature is problem solving. I love doing research. I love doing the experiments. I love working with my hands. That kind of mindset and problem solving obviously works in a scientific space, but I think when it comes to me planning for a race or planning my training, you could take the same approach. When you're trying to just solve a problem, you have the idea and then you've got to figure out what are the constraints, what are you working with, what are you capable of? I started off never having a coach and running by feel, rather than having someone program something for me all the time where I'm like, it becomes a job where I have to like get out, no, I have to hit the 6-mile run today or have to do this today. I like keeping a little more flexibility. There were a few years when I was first starting when I would run like 6 races in a year, and then now that's teetered down to be 3 or 4 usually. This bib was my first Western States where I got 4th, Trail World Championships, Trans-Gran Canaria, Bear 100. It felt like a cool thing to put on the wall in the gym. It's like extra motivation. When I was in grad school pursuing my bioengineering degree, I was in the lab all the time, studying, doing research, going to classes, and it was exhausting. Most of my running was actually commuting back and forth between the lab and the campus. That was really the only way I could fit in the time to train. I could turn off the science and the stress and just have a moment to myself. That really was a big part of my sanity, I think, during those years. In my first 50K, get to the turnaround point, my stomach takes a turn for the worse. I remember finishing and just thinking like, I don't think this trail running thing is for me. I said I would never be able to do 100 miles, but maybe I should just try it. 3 weeks later, I ran 100 miles and I won that race. It was one of the first times I really thought this is actually something I'm good at. Maybe it could be more than just a hobby. Western States is one of those competitive fields where if you do well there, you're up there. I definitely had feelings of, what am I doing here? I remember this feeling of, what is happening? As I was running and would pass someone and I would recognize who they are. Like, I'm passing this person? What? That was pretty eye-opening for me. After that, I ran at the Trail World Championships, finished in the top 10, did the Coastal Challenge in Costa Rica, won that race. I've raced a few times at Trans-Gran Canaria, finished second my first year there, won the next year. I have learned how to fit in other types of movement in the mountains, like climbing some peaks, ski mountaineering. I teamed up with a friend to do what's called the Rainier Infinity Loop. So you go up Mount Rainier, down, run half the Wonderland Trail back to where you start, climb Rainier again, descend again, and then do the other part of the Wonderland Trail. And we became the first female team to do it. I went back and did the Wonderland Trail just on its own. It's a 93-mile route around Mount Rainier and set a new FKT there.
Just set a new paradigm in Wonderland Trail history.
One of the themes that I think has come out of both my science career and my running career is that I'm often surprising myself, and in doing that, I'm redefining what's possible. It takes a lot of work to train to compete at this level, but ultimately, I think for me to be successful, it has to be something that I'm also passionate about. We often set boundaries on what we're capable of doing, and having the self-confidence to be able to push past that and say, hey, I know you can do this, you should go for it. With ultra running, I've come to realize there are many different paths to find success. But if you embrace the unknown, try new things, and follow your passion, you'll find your own way. And that's been really rewarding for me.